Welcome back, everyone. This is Mastering English Communication, the one-year learning plan. And this is April, if you've been following since January, but it's month 4 if you joined at a different month. Each of the modules is designed to stand alone, but at the end of a 12-month period, you actually will be dramatically closer to being fluent and or advanced in your language skills if you're following the curriculum. All righty. So now let us begin this April or this month in April. We will work on refining our telephone and video conference skills. Now, this is an essential part of everyday business interactions. And by um, dramatically up leveling or honing these skills, you will learn how to sound clear, confident, and professional when speaking with clients, colleagues, or some other type of stakeholder in real time. Okay, get your pad, get your pencil, get ready. Now, let's get started. So before we begin with the lesson, let's just do a quick recap. This will help some of you that were not here previously, and this is your first time. Uh, the last month's lesson, or March, you improved your written communication, and I gave advice and how to, both for normal written communication and email. A lot of the focus was on email since most of the time we're writing electronically and having business conversations via email as well. All right. But especially emails, some reporting, and the goal is also aiming for clarity and proper tone. So now, with a strong foundation in structured writing, we can use those same clarity principles to speak more effectively. This progression helps ensure each skill you master supports the next step in your communication journey. And if this sounds a little bit like I'm encouraging you to go back and March's do March's video lesson, you are 100% correct. So, what is our objective this month? We're going to tackle 3 core objectives. As you can see there, confident phone communication, effective video conferencing, as well as some listening and response skills. So those of you that are familiar with my channel realize that I do a lot around producing lessons that will periodically emphasize active listening. So this is just part of that. And you should listen to some of my other lessons on this very topic. Now, for today, what we're going to look at here is refining these techniques, strengthening our listening skills, and developing a polished presence for video calls. Right? Achieving these goals will help you handle phone calls and virtual meetings with greater ease. And it will ensure that you leave a strong impression every time. I can tell you, as someone who is doing Zoom calls or some other type of video call almost every day of the business week, that many people clearly have not learned this lesson or even understand how they may look or sound online. So this is actually very, very important. It helps us improve ourselves in something that is not necessarily technical or right in the middle of what we consider our skill, but it helps us communicate and look better and more professional and more polished as we implement our skill and go about our jobs and careers. So let's take a look at the power of real-time communication. That's what phone calls and video calls are, right? We are responding in real time, and so we want to sharpen our skills as it relates to that. In live conversations, whether on the phone or video, every single word, tone, or reaction counts. Real-time communication offers a something unique. It offers immediate feedback, which is very similar to when you are facing someone live or sitting or talking with someone live, right? Uh, Now, this is a priceless way for building rapport. You're able to resolve questions very quickly and demonstrate leadership. This is just, these are just two or three of the things, of the many things that you can do. So mastering these skills increases efficiency and fosters trustworthy relationships. Now let's take a look at telephone etiquette. As I mentioned earlier, I speak to a lot of people. I both on the phone and I'm on some type of video call almost every day. Telephone etiquette is essential. Having a clear greeting, having your thoughts organized, and having a polite farewell as well. Okay. So, one of the best ways to improve your phone skills is through realistic role plays. You want to practice greeting callers, stating your purpose, clarifying details, and ending the call politely. People remember these things, even if they're not actively remembering them. Someone notices when you're polite, and they also notice when you're rude. So, polite is better in most cases. Now, this consistent rehearsal will help you gain confidence and develop a very calm, very professional tone that resonates with clients and colleagues. So, as I said, you want to do role plays. You want to have a practice scenario, and some of the scenario ideas might be placing an order, requesting information, responding to inquiries, scheduling appointments. There are others, but these are very common. And you want to track your progress. You should record these role plays to identify strengths and areas needing more practice. So let's take a look at a structured phone call example that includes a clear greeting, organized thoughts, and a polite farewell. So I want you to listen very closely because this could be a model that you can use. So I'll start first with the greeting. Hello, this is Alex from Green Tech Solutions. May I speak with Sarah regarding the new project timeline? Thought number one. First, I wanted to confirm the key milestones we discussed last week. Second, I'd like to make sure we have enough resources assigned to meet our deadlines. Lastly, let's finalize the date for our next status update so our teams can stay coordinated. And then a farewell. Thank you so much for your time, Sarah. I appreciate your input, and I'll follow up with an email summary shortly. Have a great day. So this is a great example of how to do this. Create a scenario. You have ideas on the screen here. Create a scenario. And I'm going to go through this one more time, but I'm going to leave out the thought one, thought two sort of thing, and I'm going to have it flow. So I'm going to call. Hello, this is Alex from Green Tech Solutions. May I speak with Sarah regarding the new project timeline? Oh, this is Sarah. Okay, great. Thank you for your time. First, I wanted to confirm the key milestones we discussed last week. Also, I'd like to make sure we have enough resources assigned to meet our deadlines. And lastly, let's finalize the date for our next status update so our teams stay coordinated. Fast forward, we have done all of that, and now the conversation is wrapping up. So thank you so much for your time, Sarah. I appreciate your input, and I'll follow up with an email summary shortly. Have a great day. So practice this structure in role plays. Focus on clarity, pacing, and a friendly tone. Over time, you'll develop a smooth professional approach to phone conversations. Okay? Now, you also can do something with recording actual work-related calls. Only do this if your workplace permits it. If they permit it, then consider recording short segments of real phone calls. Review these recordings. They can reveal hidden habits, like speaking too fast. Maybe you're nervous or something, or just you're not thinking about it. Using too many filler words, such as yeah, you like, oh, like these sorts of things, or sounding uncertain. By identifying your weaknesses, you can then focus on specific areas for improvement in future calls. Once you've gathered call recordings and get role play feedback, take time to analyze them carefully. Remember, you're improving your English, and this is a business environment that I'm speaking of mostly here today, but also this is for a social calls as well. So look at your clarity, your conciseness, and vocal tone, noting any recurring patterns, both good and bad. This reflection helps pinpoint exactly where you're excelling and where you need to concentrate your practice efforts. Now, if you're finding this information valuable so far, please give us a like. We'd appreciate it. Thank you. Now let's move on to video conferences. All right. First, I'd like to just say there's three basic elements that we're looking at here. Clear audio and visuals. Make sure you have good lighting. The background is proper, reliable internet. Also, and by the way, I've made this mistake myself on occasion. So it's human nature, but after a while, I notice that I make the mistake less and less, and you will also. Maintain eye contact, not with the screen, but with the camera. That's important. Not with the screen, but with the camera. It keeps the other side engaged. And then make sure that your presence is professional, right? You don't want to look like you just rolled out of bed if you're doing a business meeting. So now, with that being said, remember that technical setup matters. You want to make sure you have strong internet, clear audio, and a distraction-free environment. While it may be cute for pet owners to have their cat crawl across the keyboard, if you're trying to conduct a business meeting, it doesn't look very professional. If you're talking to your friends, that's a different story. So you want to be careful about these sorts of things. As a pet owner, I love my pets, but they're not in the office with me. So taking these steps communicates respect for everyone's time and setting a positive tone before the meeting ever begins. Let's take a look at nonverbal communication on video. Body language matters. Be mindful of it. Practice maintaining a very calm, friendly demeanor by nodding to show engagement. Give people these cues. Thoughtful gestures. Use hand gestures thoughtfully to emphasize your points. Avoid distractions. Avoid fidgeting or multitasking during a call. Such distractions can give the impression of disinterest or disorganization. Right? Body language conveys as much as spoken words in virtual meetings. Maintain a posture that suggests confidence. Keep gestures natural and ensure a neat backdrop. These simple adjustments can significantly elevate your professional image in the eyes of colleagues and clients. And as I said before, to build that rapport and trust, look directly at your camera rather than at the screen. Subtle hand gestures can add emphasis, but avoid overdoing them. And then balance confident eye contact with purposeful gestures. This will help you appear composed and attentive. So this brings me to another point. Uh, the only time I am not on the screen is when I'm doing a presentation such as this or a lesson such as this, where I want the focus of the meeting to be the content. Otherwise, I am on screen. And so I am not one of these people that will have a blank screen while I'm talking to someone. Otherwise, what's the point of being on a video call? Just make a phone call, right? So I make a point of always being on screen. And I will tell you, people that continually hide behind blank screens are dramatically less effective in their interaction with others. Just a thought. Now, you also don't want to speak too quietly. Now, this can make you sound uncertain, even if you're not uncertain. And you want to be sure that you're not speaking too loudly because this can be off-putting. So aim for a balance, right? Oh, just that's why it's important to record yourself on video calls so you can take a look at yourself and how you performed. This is the importance of not being on a blank screen if you don't have content up. Pausing occasionally allows listeners to absorb what you've said and gives you a moment to collect your thoughts before continuing. Group practice sessions. Okay, in a group practice session, you can have multiple speakers. So multiple speakers is more than one, and that helps you get used to speaking in front of someone. And if you can have more than one person there with you, even better. And then you want to take turns. You don't want someone to feel left out. And if they're shy about getting involved, you want to gently draw them in. And then, of course, summarize key points. And you should practice that as well. So anxiety often comes from things you're unfamiliar with. So increase your comfort level by practicing phone and video calls with friends or in low stakes situations. If you slip up, don't worry. Recordings and self review will help you pinpoint issues and remind you that consistent practice will lead to progress. So, overcoming technical challenges. If you're using technology, sooner or later, there's a challenge. There's a technical challenge. There's no way to get around it. So, to overcome them to the extent possible, do pre-call checks. Prepare by checking your microphone, your camera if you're going to be using it, internet connection in advance. Do some basic troubleshooting. So learn some troubleshooting tips, like make sure you understand where the mute button is and make sure you understand turning the mute on and off and any visual signals you have for it. This is just an example, right? Audio levels, reconnecting if call drops, things like that, right? You want smooth communication whenever possible. Okay, so we have a weekly schedule. So you want to focus on short phone calls, record them to review pacing and clarity. Then week 2, introduce video calls, practice adjusting camera angles, lighting, and posture. Week 3, combine both phone and video exercises. Practice switching between mediums confidently. Group 4, participate in group video calls or live online sessions, applying all the skills that you've learned this month. So if this sounds like homework, that's correct. It is. I broke it down by week, and this is because you want to start slowly and build up. Now, of course, if you're more advanced, you want to use more advanced scenarios to push yourself forward. So start with the phone role plays to develop your opening, question asking, closing techniques. Next, record real calls if possible to analyze your performance. Then focus on video calls. Make sure you're aware of the environment, body language, and clarity. And then combine these skills in a full simulation. Okay. This will make you dramatically better at it. And you will come across much more confident as you interact with colleagues and clients. Right? And then, of course, by the middle of this month, let's assume that you're starting at the beginning of the month. So 2 weeks in, right? Or after the second week, do a self-assessment, reflect on your progress, positive feedback, and positive feedback, not for just from you, from reviewing the video or recordings, but also from others that you trust their input, and then make adjustments. So by the end of April, or the end of the fourth month, you'll be more confident handling live conversations, whether on the phone or video. These will improve your communications capability, your English speaking skills, and just will sharpen your overall professionalism. In May, we're going to focus on presentation and public speaking mastery. So, with that being said, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. It helps us help you. And I'll see you next time as we continue our linguistic adventure together. Take care, everyone.